What's up, everybody? Venom here with a quick guide on Dave the Diver. Let's get right into it. Dave the Diver is a brand new casual RPG adventure type game where you are Dave and you are a diver. The main premise of the game is going into the deep sea and collecting fish using a harpoon or guns or different weapons that you are going to find along the way, but you start out with just a knife and a harpoon, and that gets a little challenging because the harpoon is a little bit hard to master at first. But once you get the hang of it, you start harpooning a bunch of fish and bringing them up. But why exactly are we fishing? Well, for the sushi restaurant, of course. We have to collect fish in order to bring it back to our sushi restaurant. Now, it's not ours, we just work there for Cobra, but we have to go down and get the fish to bring back up to create sushi to feed to our hungry patrons. And it's not as cut and dry as you think. It's not just going down and grabbing fish and bringing them back up. Some of these fish are aggressive and will attack you back. So in today's guide, we're going to just cover tips and tricks for brand new players and what you can do to make the most of Dave the Diver when you're first beginning. Let's start out with equipment. Now, you're going to notice that you're wearing a diving suit because you're diving. When you start diving right in the beginning, you're going to notice you can't go very far down without you getting a blinking red warning that says critical depths. This is because your diving suit is not capable of going very deep to start out. But the deeper you go, the cooler stuff is down there. So the first thing you're going to want to focus on is trying to save up as much gold as possible in order to upgrade your diving suit. Now, there are a couple different upgrades that you'll be able to utilize, such as your oxygen tanks, how much you can store, as well as the depth that you can dive. Now, you have your diving suit, your air cylinder, and your cargo box. But which one do you want to upgrade first? My suggestion? Upgrade all of them together. Try to save up and upgrade them one by one, but try to do one level for your air cylinder, one level for your diving suit, and one level for your cargo box before moving any further. You might want to go for the cargo box because the heavier things get, the more oxygen it takes to swim, and you can drown down there. And when you drown, you can only bring one item back with you that you've collected throughout your entire trip. But again, I still suggest that you upgrade all of them together to try to keep it leveled out and even so that everything just fits cohesively. Now, why do I want them to fit cohesively? Well, for me, my biggest issue in the beginning was running out of air and drowning and losing everything that I collected and only being able to bring one thing back with me after my trip into the deep sea. But if I level up my air tanks too high, I'm not going to be able to collect a lot of stuff. So the deeper I go, while there might be cool stuff down there, I'm not going to be able to bring as much back up with me once I finish my trip, even if I have very good air tanks. So keeping everything kind of evened out is very important, especially as you traverse deeper into the sea. But I definitely suggest, number one, try your best to upgrade your equipment as soon as you can. Now, where do you get the money to upgrade your equipment? Well, by working at the sushi bar. Every evening, you are going to leave your boat and go to the sushi bar where you will make money by serving guests. They are going to request different menu items as well as green tea, and you have to serve them and make sure that they're happy and keep them coming back for more. Now, it isn't exactly easy to serve all these guests, especially as you get more menu items and more guests coming in. It becomes extremely difficult, but you can hire staff, which is something that I will cover in a later guide on how to unlock staff and then staff the restaurant so that you're not trying to do a million things at once. And that brings me to my next tip, actually. Green tea pouring for your guests. Now, in order to get the most gold from your guests for pouring green tea, you have to pour it perfectly. You're going to see a line and an arrow pointing to the perfect pour every time you are filling their glass with green tea. And you're going to want to aim for that every single time you pour a customer a glass. Pouring a perfect glass not only makes them happy and more inclined to leave good reviews, which it's an app on the game where they can leave reviews for the restaurant, but it's also going to get you more money. If you practice filling the cups up the best that you can every time that you get a customer that orders green tea, you're going to have a pretty decent chance at earning extra coin while on the job and serving sushi. My next tip is going to be a little bit different because we're going to talk about Dave's cell phone. Dave comes equipped with the cell phone after you fish a couple of times. I'm not sure exactly when you get it, it's pretty early on. But he comes equipped with a cell phone that comes in handy as you progress. You're going to get a bunch of different apps and features that are going to help you maximize your output in the game. And all of these different apps and features are things like upgrading your suit, finding new weapons, upgrading your weapons, and creating new weapons, crafting, all that 10 yards. It is all on your cell phone. Now, something that is easily overlooked is your contact list. Dave will be given a list of contacts as he meets new people throughout the game, and you're going to want to call them and talk to them because they will give you tips and tricks for completing certain tasks in game. Now, this is something that initially even I overlooked because I was like, why am I going to call these people? I already got the quest from them. What do I need from them? And then I accidentally hit the spacebar one time while looking at my contacts, and I found out that they give you pointers on what tasks you have available throughout your day. So this makes things a little bit easier because it gives you a sense of direction and you don't feel as alone while playing the game, even though it is single player. Also, you're going to have apps that gather information about all the fish that are located in the deep sea, and that also comes in handy because knowing what fish you're dealing with and how to deal with them and what they can do for you is extremely important. Knowing their rank and everything like that comes in handy as you want to progress and earn more money through your playthrough. Now, the blue hole has a lot of fish, so you're not going to be able to get a lot of information on those fish until you actually encounter them, but once you do encounter them, you will be able to find a lot of helpful tips on that phone by just simply going through all of the different apps and learning about the fish and tasks and things available to you. Next, we're going to talk about those fish, but in a different way. We're going to discuss the types of fish that you'll be able to bring to the restaurant to add to your menu. Since there are several types of fish, that means you're going to want to have several types of fish on your menu. The more varied and rare fish you have on your menu, the more money you're going to make every night. Think about real life restaurants. When you go there, do you only want them to serve spaghetti and nothing else, or would you rather them have options? Just like us in real life, the NPC characters want options, so make sure you bring a lot of fish to prepare all the different kinds of sushi that you can to keep your menu varied and looking good. The most important thing about the menu is making sure that you have enough ingredients, so if you don't have a lot of different types of fish, just make sure you at least have enough to make it through the night. I found that in the beginning I would want to catch at least 5 to 10 fish before going back up and then joining the restaurant, just because you do have 2 opportunities to dive throughout the day, so make sure to utilize both of those dives in order to maximize your fish output. It's also worth noting that in the beginning you only have 4 menu slots, so make sure to choose your menu wisely when you are picking those 4 menu items. You can upgrade them as you go by leveling up and serving more people and getting new fish and things like that, but you only have 4 to start, so choose wisely. My next point is don't dive too deep in the beginning when you're first starting. I made the mistake of diving extremely far down when I first started, and that almost got me killed. There was a shark down there, a very large shark, and I did not know how to combat it because at the time I only had my harpoon, and he almost killed me. So definitely recommend trying to stay away from the deeper depths until you feel more equipped with different weapons and more oxygen and things like that. It's also worth noting that when an enemy or aggressive fish hits you, you lose oxygen. So one of the main reasons that I panicked and almost died is because while the shark was biting me and making me bleed all over the map, I was losing oxygen and was in need of an oxygen tank or little oxygen fillers that you'll find all around, but there was none nearby. So as this thing was attacking me incessantly, there was nothing that I could really do to save myself. And if I had just not gone as far down as I did, it wouldn't have happened. So I suggest staying out of the deep, deep depths of the abyss as long as you can until you feel ready and prepared. Another big tip that I want to say is easily overlooked is checking your oxygen levels. One of the major reasons that I died several times when I first started playing Dave the Diver is because I just didn't pay attention to my oxygen levels until it was yelling, "Warning, running out of air." So when I was deep in the blue hole, there was not a lot of time for me to try to escape or find a way to get more oxygen, and you will drown. And again, you only can receive 1 item from your inventory that you lost when you drowned. So trying to maintain the correct oxygen level and ensuring that you don't run out of oxygen while diving is extremely important. And you would think it's not easily overlooked, but it is, especially when you're down there seeing all these cool new fish and you want to collect as many as you can. It's easily something that you just kind of put out of sight, out of mind. But I definitely recommend checking your oxygen level constantly. And that brings me to my last tip. You're going to want to check the menu and see what people like after the end of each night. After the night ends, you're going to have a stats screen that pops up that's going to tell you which items on the menu that you sold the most of. If you sold, certain items with yellow tang in it, you want to try to make sure the next night that you have yellow tang, because it's going to keep bringing people back, it's going to get you positive reviews, and that's going to make you more money to upgrade your equipment to dive deeper and find more awesome fish to sell to your customers. Paying attention early on to the things that sell well and sell in high quantities is going to maximize the amount of gold that you get in the very beginning, which you're going to need a lot of gold because you need to upgrade pretty much everything. And don't forget, you have to upgrade the sushi bar itself to maintain, more guests and to keep things spicy, per se. But what I mean by that is basically you're going to change the decor and the aesthetic of the sushi bar to make your customers more happy. And when they're happy, they're going to tip more, they're going to request different items on your menu that are going to sell for more, they're going to give positive reviews and bring more guests in the next night. So making sure that your guests are happy is obviously important in any restaurant, in any restaurant simulator, in any game that has this kind of mechanic. But in this one specifically, you just want to try to make sure that you're looking out for the items that are selling the best and for the most so that you can make the most of every single night in the sushi restaurant. Now, my last piece of advice isn't really a tip. It's more of just a piece of advice. And it's when you're diving down in the deep blue sea, you're going to notice a lot more things than just fish down there. There's going to be chests that have treasure inside of them or upgrades for your guns. So if you see a chest, try to pick it up. It can also contain oxygen, which again is extremely important because you're a deep sea diver. Now, not all of these treasure chests are going to be easy to spot, so make sure you have a keen eye and you're looking around as much as you can while looking for fish, because realistically in the beginning you do want to focus on trying to get as many fish as possible and not cluttering your inventory and having too much to carry and not being able to get back to the surface in time. But if you see a treasure chest, I definitely suggest at least opening it up to see what it has inside of it. If it's not worth it, it's okay. You'll find it another day. But if it's something that's rare or there's some crazy treasure inside that sells for a high price tag, I suggest just opening every chest that you see so that you can make the most of every dive every day while playing Dave the Diver. And that's going to do it for this guide. If you like the video, then like the video. And if you like my content in general, then subscribe to my channel. I hope this guide was helpful in getting you started in Dave the Diver and just kind of giving you a little bit of insight on where to begin or what to look out for, especially making sure that your oxygen is filled and you are breathing while under the deep blue sea. I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!